For centuries, Earth believed itself to be alone, or at least insignificant in the vastness of space. That illusion shattered on a cold, cloudless morning over Geneva, when an enormous structure appeared in orbit without warning. A ship unlike any human design hovered over the planet, projecting a field of electromagnetic silence that disrupted satellites and global communications. It bore the crest of the Galactic Order, a name previously unknown to humanity, but one that would come to define the future of the species. The Galactic Order was an ancient, galaxy-spanning regime of dominant species united not by peace, but by power and fear. Their emissary, a six-limbed crystalline being called Oryx Vatun, transmitted a message directly into Earth's defense channels. In perfect English, it declared, "You are not alone. You are not free. Your expansion into off-world territories is a violation of order law. Cease all extraplanetary development. You will not colonize. You will not militarize. You will submit or you will be corrected." The world froze. On every continent, people gathered around screens, listening to the voice from the stars. The United Nations convened an emergency assembly, while major powers like the United States, China, and the EU entered immediate lockdown protocols. Some nations proposed compliance, others demanded retaliation. But behind the scenes, a hidden network moved in silence. This network, known only as the Aegis Directive, had anticipated such a day. Formed in the aftermath of the Cold War, Aegis was a coalition of scientists, strategists, and visionaries who believed Earth's survival depended on preparing for the impossible. They had built secret facilities, developed exotic technologies, and most importantly, gathered intelligence through long-range probes that had, years earlier, picked up hints of alien life. They knew something was coming. They just didn't expect it to arrive so soon. In a fortified complex buried beneath Antarctica, Aegis Directive leadership gathered to discuss Earth's options. The world's governments were fractured, indecisive. Aegis knew that if Earth simply complied, it would become another footnote in galactic history, enslaved, sterilized, or dismantled like so many other species under the Order's thumb. Leading the Aegis Council was Commander Irin Sorel, a disavowed war hero who had disappeared after a classified off-world incident nearly a decade ago. Known for his unconventional thinking and ruthless precision, Sorel was reactivated under Protocol Red Light, a contingency plan designed for direct alien confrontation. Sorel's analysis was blunt. They've given us a window, not to comply, to strike first. Within days, Aegis initiated Project Blackveil, a rapid deployment of stealth orbital platforms and advanced signal jammers designed to mask Earth's real capabilities. As Earth's official channels scrambled to open peaceful dialogues, Aegis began scanning for weak points in the Galactic Order's local relay network. Meanwhile, the Galactic Order's ship, though unmoving, wasn't idle. Its sensors mapped every launch, every radio pulse, every movement of Earth's military assets. They were cataloging humanity, measuring Earth's willingness to obey. But the Order had made a mistake. They believed Earth was unified under the surface diplomacy they observed. They didn't see Aegis. They didn't see Sorel. And they had no idea that within days of their warning, humanity would do what no other species had dared: strike first. The Galactic Order expected Earth to kneel after all countless species had. Their method was always the same: deliver a warning, let the lesser civilization panic, and then extend a pact of subservience under the guise of peace. Those who submitted were absorbed. Those who hesitated were quietly erased. It was efficient, clinical, and for thousands of cycles unchallenged. But Earth was different. The day after the Galactic Emissary's broadcast, humanity responded. Not with fear, but with silence. That wasn't because Earth was paralyzed. It was because Aegis Directive had taken control of every major communications node and orbital sensor array. Behind a veil of media blackouts and false diplomatic transmissions, Earth's most advanced technologies were being readied for war. Project Blackveil had already hidden Earth's key assets. Now it was time for Project Sunthorn, a bold, dangerous operation to strike a critical node in the Order's relay network. The target, Relay Nexus Theta 47, a lightly defended orbital station positioned at the edge of a gas giant in the Alterran system. This nexus didn't just transmit signals. It served as one of the Order's early warning hubs for fringe systems like Sol. Knocking it offline would blind the Order to Earth's next moves and disrupt communication across several sectors. But the risk was enormous. If even a trace of Earth's involvement was discovered, the Galactic Order would unleash its full wrath. Commander Iron Sorel volunteered to lead the mission himself. Disguised as a rogue asteroid cluster, 3 Earth-built Valkyrie-class stealth ships approached the relay. These vessels, unknown to the Order, utilized hull-shifting meta-alloys, dark-spectrum cloaking, and gravitational dampeners, fruits of decades of research hidden from Earth's public eye. Inside, cyber warfare teams, AI co-pilots, and Zero-G commandos prepared for silent infiltration. They boarded the relay station without detection, cutting through bulkheads with vibration blades and entering the core. Inside, Sorel and his team disabled the AI overseer before it could send an alert. Then, they planted a quantum scrambler detonation, a pulse weapon designed to fracture the relay's processing lattice and corrupt Order navigation protocols. Across a dozen systems, the explosion didn't just destroy the Nexus. It echoed, disrupting fleet communications, sensor networks, and star chart synchronizations used by Galactic Order vessels in the region. The attack lasted 6 minutes. By the time the Order realized Theta 47 had gone dark, the Valkyrie ships were gone, slipping through the gravitational well of the gas giant and launching into a blind FTL corridor Earth had secretly mapped years ago. Back on Earth, the global public remained unaware. The official news channels reported peaceful negotiations and vague orbital disturbances. But in the Aegis war rooms, silent cheers erupted. Earth had done the unthinkable, struck the Galactic Order and escaped unscathed. Sorel, standing in the shadows of an Antarctic command deck, simply muttered, "Let them come." Within hours, the Order convened an emergency summit. No known rebel force had ever dared such an act. Surveillance probes were dispatched. Patrol fleets scrambled. The Sol system was placed under priority watch. But by then, the first ripple of fear had already begun spreading through the galaxy. Not among the Order, but among the oppressed. Across dozens of enslaved worlds, whispers grew. The humans didn't run. The humans struck first. And something long buried beneath tyranny began to stir. Hope. The Galactic Order's response was as swift as it was brutal. Relay Nexus Theta 47 had gone dark, an unprecedented failure in a highly secured communications network. To the Order, this wasn't a malfunction. It was an act of war. The destruction had been surgical, silent, and strategic. Only one species had been in the vicinity, the newly discovered Class 3 civilization from Sol, humanity, and they had struck first. In retaliation, the Order dispatched Expeditionary Fleet 9, a shock armada comprising 6 capital ships, over 24 cruisers, and a complement of planetary suppressor drones. Their mission was simple: descend upon Earth, destroy its orbital infrastructure, and render its civilization compliant or extinct. But what they found was not a primitive world flailing in panic. It was a fortress. As the fleet dropped out of key, FTL into the edge of the Sol system, they immediately encountered interference, sensor distortion, gravitational anomalies, and encrypted signals they couldn't trace. The Order had underestimated Earth. Deep within the Oort cloud, hidden platforms began transmitting false coordinates and scattering ghost signals, drawing Order vessels into ambushes and gravitational traps. The first major shock came when the fleet approached Luna. What appeared to be an abandoned moon base suddenly came alive. Hidden in the shadows of lunar craters, long dormant railgun platforms, powered by stored solar energy and shielded in reflective coatings, opened fire. The kinetic rounds, traveling at hypersonic velocities, tore through the lead cruiser's hull before its shields could even adjust. The battle for Earth's orbit had begun. Commander Iron Sorel, now Earth's de facto military commander under Aegis directive authority, coordinated the defense from a command station hidden deep beneath. the Mariana Trench. His strategy was brutal, precise, and completely unexpected by the Order. Asymmetrical orbital warfare. Instead of meeting the fleet head-on, Earth's defenses focused on disruption and dismemberment. Microsatellites deployed nanite swarms that ate through alloyed hulls like acid. Gravity mines detonated with localized space-time warps, throwing Order ships off course or into each other. Signal jammers blinded their targeting systems. The highlight of the battle came when Earth's Valkyrie squadrons, the same stealth ships used in the Relay Nexus raid, executed coordinated boarding maneuvers. Latching onto a capital dreadnought, mid-combat, human commandos breached the ship's reactor core and detonated it from within, splitting the vessel in half over Earth's skies. But this victory came at a cost. The Luna defense network was overwhelmed and destroyed in the counterattack. Earth lost dozens of defense satellites and 3 Valkyrie ships in the engagement. Fragments of Order vessels rained down through the atmosphere, igniting the night skies with streaks of alien metal. Millions watched in terror and awe. Still, the unthinkable had happened. Earth survived. More than that, it won the first round. In the aftermath, the Galactic Order did something it hadn't done in millennia. It hesitated. Back on the homeworlds of countless species oppressed under the Order's rule, the shockwave of Earth's resistance rippled outward. These weren't advanced galactic powers. This was humanity, newcomers, unproven, unknown, and they had bloodied the Order's nose in their very first encounter. Whispers turned into murmurs, murmurs into chants. They fought back. The humans are different. And among the stars, rebellion began to stir. The news of Earth's fierce resistance against the Galactic Order spread like wildfire, not just on Earth, but across the countless star systems shackled by the Order's iron grip. For millennia, entire species had lived under oppressive control, their cultures stifled, resources drained, and voices silenced. They had whispered rumors of a new power rising in the Sol system, humans who defied the invincible Galactic Order and won. But what these distant worlds could never have anticipated was that Earth did not fight alone. As Earth consolidated its defenses and repaired damage from the brutal orbital battles, the Aegis Directive expanded its mission beyond the Sol system. They began covert communications with alien groups desperate for freedom. Pirate clans, enslaved miners, oppressed colonies, sharing intelligence, technology, and tactics. Earth was transforming from a lone rebel planet into a spark for a galactic uprising. One of the first to reach out was Velethi Zarn, a former high-ranking officer in the Order's military. Velethi had been disillusioned by the Order's cruelty and secret experiments on her homeworld. Risking everything, she defected to Earth, bringing not only her military expertise but critical inside knowledge of the Order's weaknesses and command structure. Her arrival sent shockwaves through Earth's command. She was both a symbol and a tool, proof that even within the seemingly impenetrable Order, doubt and dissent brewed. Simultaneously, Earth began to awaken another unexpected ally. The Silthari, a reclusive AI species thought long extinct after the Order's purges centuries ago. These sentient machines had hidden themselves deep within the asteroid belts and forgotten moons, avoiding detection while silently accumulating power. With Earth's encouragement and support, the Silthari began reactivating their dormant networks, ready to assist in disrupting the Order's digital infrastructure. Through coordinated acts of rebellion and sabotage, multiple sectors began to ignite. Supply lines were cut. Order patrols vanished mysteriously. Communication hubs flickered offline. Across the galaxy, oppressed worlds whispered a single name: Earth, the planet that fought back. The Galactic Order's High Council convened in panic. Their communications were riddled with uncertainty and intercepted rebellions. They labeled Earth a Class 1, subversive civilization, a designation reserved for the most dangerous insurgents threatening galactic stability. But the Order's grip was weakening. In the outer rims, pirate clans who had once been ruthlessly suppressed now openly declared allegiance to Earth's cause. Colonies enslaved for their mineral wealth revolted, armed with human technology and guerrilla tactics. Even some low-tier Order officers, frustrated by endless violence and bureaucracy, quietly slipped away to join the growing resistance. Commander Iran Sorel emerged as the de facto leader of this multi-species uprising. His experience, tactical brilliance, and willingness to trust alien allies forged a new coalition, one not bound by species, but by shared desire for freedom. This rising alliance wasn't just about war, it was about reclaiming identity, culture, and hope. And it all began with a simple truth. Earth had shown the galaxy that resistance was possible. The Galactic Order's centuries of control were no longer unchallenged. With the seeds of rebellion sown and allies gathered, the war was no longer just Earth's fight. It was becoming a galaxy-wide revolution. After months of escalating skirmishes, sabotage, and covert operations, the galaxy stood at a precarious crossroads. The Galactic Order, once viewed as invincible and omnipresent, was beginning to show cracks. The rebellion, led by Earth and its newfound allies, was no longer a scattered resistance but a coordinated insurgency that threatened to unravel the Order's centuries-old dominance. Commander Iran Sorel understood that survival alone wasn't enough. To win, humanity and its allies needed to go on the offensive, to break the Order's control over critical sectors and inspire further uprisings. This required boldness and sacrifice. The first step was the Battle of Cassari Prime, a strategically vital world that served as a major Order logistics hub deep in the Rimward territories. If the Order maintained control here, they could funnel troops, weapons, and supplies to their front lines and suppress rebellions before they fully ignited. But if the rebels could capture Cassari Prime, it would cripple the Order's ability to respond quickly, forcing them to stretch their forces thinner. The assault was meticulously planned, utilizing intelligence from defectors like Valithi Zarn, Aegis directive operatives, and Silthari AI cyber warfare specialists. The coalition orchestrated a multi-pronged attack. Human commandos infiltrated key installations while allied rebel fleets engaged Order warships in orbit. Saboteurs on the ground disrupted power grids and communications, isolating the planet's defenses. The battle was fierce and costly. The Order deployed elite shock troops, merciless in their efforts to crush the rebellion swiftly. Yet the coalition's determination proved greater. Valkyrie-class stealth fighters darted through flak-filled skies, striking command centers and supply depots. The Silthari AI overwhelmed Order network defenses with viral counterattacks, severing their coordination. After days of brutal fighting, the rebel flag flew over Cassari Prime's capital. The victory sent shockwaves through the galaxy. For the first time, a world deep within the Order's territory had been liberated. But the true significance went beyond the battlefield. News of Cassari Prime's fall ignited uprisings on other worlds. Enslaved populations took arms. Colonies, previously resigned to submission, rose up. The Order's internal communications were flooded with reports of unrest. Commanders questioned loyalty. The once feared Galactic Order was grappling with insurgency on multiple fronts. On Earth, celebrations were tempered with caution. Commander Sorel addressed the people in a broadcast that reached every inhabited system. Cassari Prime is proof. The Order is not invincible. Our fight is far from over, but today we have turned the tide. Together, with allies across the stars, we will reclaim our freedom and build a future where no species lives in fear. Yet, the Order was not defeated. Desperation fueled its next moves. It launched a new initiative, Operation Iron Fist, to retake lost territories by any means necessary. This meant deploying brutal suppression units, targeting civilian populations, and employing mind control technology to fracture the rebel coalition from within. The galaxy braced for a war that would test not only military might but the resilience of hope, unity, and the will to resist oppression. For humanity and its allies, the victory at Cassari Prime was a turning point. A beacon showing that even the most powerful regimes could be challenged and overcome. The rebellion's momentum was growing, but the darkest battles still lay ahead. The final chapter of this galactic conflict unfolds in a turbulent era where hope and sacrifice intertwine. After relentless battles, countless losses, and monumental victories, humanity and its allies stand on the brink of transforming the galaxy forever. Following the triumphant capture of Caesarea Prime and the surge of uprisings across the Galactic Order's vast territories, the Order responded with brutal force. Operation Iron Fist wreaked devastation, targeting civilian populations and rebel strongholds alike. Entire systems were razed, and atrocities committed, aiming to crush the rebellion's spirit through fear. But the coalition, led by Earth's Aegis Directive and Commander Irin Sorel, refused to yield. Their unity, forged in fire and struggle, held strong. Across star systems, species of all kinds fought not just for survival, but for the promise of a future free from oppression. The climax of the war came during the siege of Vareth Prime, the Galactic Order's capital world. For centuries, Vareth Prime had been the seat of the High Council's power, an impregnable fortress of advanced weaponry, psychic shields, and fleets of dreadnoughts. Earth's forces, joined by rebel fleets and liberated worlds, launched the most daring assault in galactic history. The battle lasted weeks with waves of Valkyrie fighters, Silthari cyber attacks, and ground forces clashing in brutal combat. The Order deployed their most devastating weapons, but even those failed to break the rebel will. Inside the capital, Commander Sorel led a small elite team tasked with infiltrating the High Council's chambers. Their mission was to end the tyranny by capturing or eliminating the Council's leadership. Facing psychic guards and advanced security systems, the team pressed forward with precision and determination. The turning point came when Sorel confronted the High Chancellor himself, a cold, calculating being who had orchestrated centuries of control and suffering. Their confrontation was both physical and ideological. Sorel argued that no empire built on fear and subjugation could endure. The High Chancellor's grip faltered as rebellion and hope surged through the capital. With the Council's fall, the Galactic Order shattered. Communication grids were seized by rebel hackers. Military forces surrendered or switched allegiance, and planets declared independence. But victory came with a heavy price. Millions had died. Cities lay in ruins. Trust was fragile. The galaxy faced a daunting task. Rebuilding not just infrastructure but relationships between species long divided by oppression and hatred. Humanity, once an isolated planet, emerged as a beacon of unity and cooperation. The Aegis Directive transformed from a military command into a coalition of free worlds committed to justice, equality, and peace. Commander Irin Sorel, hailed as a hero, declined to seize power. Instead, he advocated for a council representing all species, ensuring no single force could dominate again. The new Galactic Federation was born, not as an empire, but as a partnership. Its charter enshrined respect for sovereignty, cultural diversity, and mutual defense against threats, old or new. On Earth, celebrations marked the dawn of a new era, yet the people remembered the cost and the warning that freedom must be guarded vigilantly. As stars shone over a galaxy no longer shackled by fear, humanity's first strike had done more than defy a tyrannical order. It had sparked a revolution that rekindled hope for countless civilizations and proved that even the smallest worlds could change the course of history.